Hey, what is up guys, it's Thunderstruck115, and today we are going to be taking a look at yet another individual trying to commit slander. This time, it's an individual named Kumo who was trying to slander Krillix as luring minors. And then later, he would accuse Brother Nier 2.0 and Psychonaut Therapy of doing horrible shit. This comes from a voice chat that happened within Kim Josh-un's server, which unfortunately nobody actually recorded this, so I have to go off of testimonies that I've heard from people that were in the voice call. This includes people like Brother Nier 2.0, Psychonaut Therapy, Krillix, Kim Josh-un, and even Anna Waifu, if you can believe it. But the gist of it is that Kumo and Krillix were arguing about some video game shit regarding Fallout 3, COD 4, and Halo CE. Eventually, the topic landed on the Zero Needs Coffee situation, to which Krillix remarked that he was conflicted on the whole thing due to his relationship with his girlfriend. Kumo, being the absolute sped that he is, decided to accuse Krillix of luring minors. The logic that he used is that Krillix is 18 and his girlfriend is 16. But he conveniently cut him off before he gave the context, that being, they had been dating for about 3.5 years at that point, ever since Krillix was 15 and his girlfriend was 14. There's only a 1.5 year age gap between the two, they've been dating for years since both of them were minors, and Krillix only recently turned 18 a few months ago. So yeah, if you look at the actual facts of the matter, it's clear that Krillix is innocent of any wrongdoing here. But that didn't try to stop him from morally grandstanding by bringing up old dead drama from a couple months ago. Specifically the one where Vincent Martin and Sean the Legend accused Brother Nier 2.0 of grooming Kim Josh-un over a fucking joke on Discord. A joke that, when you actually take a look at the words that are on the fucking screen, are not sexual at all. Oh, and if you're still not convinced that this dude is absolutely sick in the head, a few months ago he got caught convincing an e-girl on Discord to carve his username into her flesh. I wish I was fucking joking. But since he brings it up later in the video, I'll save more discussion of that until later. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at this dog shit video.
And in today's episode of Bullying Retards, we have Nier Fanboy, or as he likes to go by now, Brother Nier.
Hello everyone, and welcome to an exclusive Brother Nier cancellation video.
I'm just gonna start off by making one tiny little nitpick. Honestly, it's a major nitpick at this point, because nobody knows how to stop fucking doing it. Edit your audio! You don't need this much fucking dead air!
First of all, I could give you the exact same criticism because throughout this video, your voice keeps constantly cutting in to the point where, like, whenever you start a new sentence, it's like the first syllable gets cut off. But second of all, the reason why Brother Nier isn't doing that style of editing on his voice is because it's an intentional effect, because he's trying to establish this video as being far more serious than he usually does. And if you take a look at any of his other videos, he does cut out the dead air like you describe.
Just the beginning segment of this video is like almost 20 minutes. We'll get into the contents of those first 20 minutes, but I really quickly want to show you how to make something fucking digestible, especially when you're trying to clear your name of something. You at least want to know how to edit a fucking video. Maybe I'm just assuming too much. Maybe you do know how to edit and you're just too fucking lazy to do it.
Hello everyone, and welcome to an exclusive Brother Nier cancellation video.
Congratulations, dumbass. You literally just made him sound like text-to-speech. And again, he edits Nier's voice in such a way that the first syllable of any of his statements is cut off.
Like, I don't understand why you make all these unnecessary pauses. All it does is draw everything out and make it harder to listen to you. And that's aside from your fucking chronically autistic mannerisms. But with all that said, I think it's time to get into why this video is absolutely dog shit. And to preface beforehand, the creators he featured on this video, I feel like in some way they might have been, like, misled and manipulated into doing this for him. And I'll go on to demonstrate this because in reality, all they did in their segments was regurgitate the very same thing he spent the first 20 minutes saying. So it's honestly just an hour of everyone saying the same fucking thing, and then you're literally bringing nothing to, like, back up what he's saying.
As a creator that was featured in this video, no, Nier did not manipulate me into saying anything specific. In fact, I literally have the DMs to prove it. And as you can clearly see in these DMs, he literally stated that this was freeform and I could literally talk about whatever I felt like regarding this situation. Also, the whole point of having these witness testimonies isn't necessarily just to repeat what Nier is saying, but is for everybody to give their own perspective on the situation. And Nier wanting so many people to give a testimony is just him wanting to be as thorough as possible.
Hello everyone, and welcome to an exclusive Brother Near cancellation video. For those of you that are currently experiencing the immense pleasure and satisfaction of not owning a Twitter account.
All that just to say, in case you weren't in the know, you seem to love to hear yourself talk. I'm starting to see why people don't go back and forth with you.
You know, it's funny you should say that Nier is the one that loves to hear himself speak when numerous people have confirmed that on the voice call on Discord that you would often speak for about 30 minutes for every 3 minutes that somebody else spoke. Not to mention, you would literally cut people off on multiple occasions.
This YouTuber, Sean the Legend, has officially accused me of pedophilia.
You can't accuse someone of having pedophilia. It's a disorder, retard. You can, however, be accused of sex offenses and committing sex crimes and pedophilic acts, which even then, I don't think you were outright accused. I'm pretty sure it was just being speculated, reasonably so.
Hey dumbass, Sean the Legend was quite literally accusing Brother Nier 2.0 of fucking grooming. Which, if somebody is a groomer, then that would make them a pedophile. Also, you absolutely can accuse somebody of being a pedophile or having any other fucking mental disorder. And reasonably so. My guy, Sean the Legend is quite literally on record stating that he doesn't believe the shit that he said regarding Nier being a groomer and that it was just a petty revenge tactic. But don't just take my word for it, let's hear it from the mouth of the gift horse himself.
I mean, considering what I did and what I said, it's pretty tame. I'm not going to sit here and excuse my actions and be like, oh, well, I was right for calling him a potential groomer for saying this about a minor and stuff. You know, maybe I shouldn't have said it. I'm not going to excuse my actions or anything. I'm not going to sit here and also sugarcoat shit either and be like, I was in the right for doing this. Because, to be honest, no, I wasn't. And that was my whole plan from the start, was to never be in the right when it came to what I said about Brother Nier 2.0 and what he made as a joke towards Kim Josh-un. No, I was getting revenge, to be honest. Okay? I'm not even going to sugarcoat it to you. Yes, I used this as an opportunity to get revenge against him because of all the shit that he said against me and the fact that I've been told him to stop with this whole situation. And yet, him and his crew didn't.
And grooming. This has been going on for a few days now.
Just a side note to anyone watching this in the future, this video was uploaded 3 months ago as I'm recording. Current date is 7/29/2023.
And Sean continues to add fuel to the fire both on Twitter and YouTube as well. And this all started because I called him out for consuming lolicon.
Well, Nier, that is called deflecting, a strategy that you are no stranger to, and it's going to reveal that his deflection shows us that you were throwing stones in a glass house to begin with.
That's not deflection. That's literally him providing context on the entire situation, which, as I demonstrated earlier with that one clip of Sean the Legend, this was just a petty revenge tactic because he was mad at Brother Nier 2.0 for calling him out for consuming lolicon. It is not deflection when the information he is giving has everything to do with the topic at hand.
Which is classified under US federal law as virtual CP.
Alright, as the more intelligent, entertaining individual with white hair, this is not your fucking territory. Get the fuck out of here. I spent a year going over this shit and going after lolicons. It is classified as illegal child porn.
Hey dumbass, you just fucking repeated what he was saying. You literally took what he said and just worded it differently.
Which is classified under US federal law as virtual CP.
There is no distinction in the federal law between virtual and physical CP. Child porn is child porn.
Does this motherfucker not know how adjectives work? Like, yes, virtual CP is still CP. That's literally one of his biggest fucking arguments against Sean the Legend!
Ever since our drama started, he's been doing nothing but deflecting any and all criticism, silencing and blocking anyone that is associated with me.
You know, the more I listen to what you're saying here, the more it really hits home with me that it almost sounds like you're making a video on yourself right here.
Well, no fucking shit.
What? You mean to tell me that the video regarding grooming allegations being made against him is about him? Oh my god!
With that said, if I sat here and pointed out every silly little Easter egg that kind of foreshadows current date, we'd be here all day, dude. So I'm gonna start cutting everything out and removing all the stuff that isn't related to the points I'm making.
So I just want to remind everybody that at the time this situation was going down, literally nobody knew that Zero Needs Coffee was a pedophile. And I also want to point out that Brother Nier 2.0 even DM'd Zero Needs Coffee on Discord as soon as it was found out to give him the opportunity to explain himself, to which Zero Needs Coffee never fucking responded. Nor did he respond to me when I pinged him.
To really get this show on the road, we're gonna start with Exhibit A.
Constantly monitoring my channel and Twitter over anything I do, and making the drama worse.
So Exhibit A is actually the entire premise of this 1-hour video response he made to this guy, and the claims are that Nier just doesn't know how to behave properly around minors. The source is this, and I quote, an ambiguous joke he made. So let's see what all the fuss is about. We're then met with an exchange he puts off showing for as long as possible where the following is said. Why do I not have the faggot role? Question mark. Kim Josh-un, a minor at the time. Come over to my house and I'll debate on it. Brother Nier.
Are you a pedophile?
Again, nobody has ever explained how this is sexual in the slightest. They're literally arguing about a role on Discord, the role of which is even a fucking insult. And you're trying to claim that this is sexual. Again, where in the words that you are seeing on the screen does it even remotely hint at anything sexual? You could interpret it as that, but you could just as easily interpret it as him threatening his life, kinda like in this clip.
What the fucking shit you done the mic for? Playing your fucking mouth, mate. I'm a grown man. You sent me a message first, yeah? I live in Smethwick, Birmingham. If you want the fucking brawl, come down Smethwick, Hospitality G. I'll come out my house and I'll break your fucking legs, you little prick! No what you're saying! No what you're fucking saying!
And now he's here, calling me a pedophile over an ambiguous, offhanded, harmless little joke I made towards a friend of mine.
Now before I get to the main point, I'm gonna squeeze this in here real quick. It drives me up the fucking wall how much he says that he's being accused of being a pedophile and that he's being slandered, but he never shows anyone doing so. And to make things even more ironic, the screenshots he does show paint an entirely different narrative from what's coming out of his mouth. It's almost like he thinks the people watching are incapable of reading.
If there is anybody incapable of reading in this situation, it would be you, Vincent Martin, and the Lolicons, because if you actually read what is on the fucking screen, there is nothing inherently sexual about that joke. If you chose to interpret it that way, that is on you. But if you actually read the words on the fucking screen, that is just Brother Nier 2.0 telling Kim Josh-un to come to his house and debate regarding a fucking insulting Discord role. Meanwhile, we do have actual screenshots of people accusing Brother Nier of grooming. Mitsune Nika, aka Sean the Legend, literally said verbatim, "How's it going making sexual jokes towards minors in your Discord, Brother Nier 2.0? I can't wait till the grooming allegations come out as well." Like, in that fucking tweet, he literally accuses Brother Nier 2.0 of grooming a minor.
I genuinely thought these words would never leave my lips, but this is one of the few instances where the Lolicons aren't being entirely bad faith. The Lolicons aren't being entirely bad faith.
Is this motherfucker really trying to claim that the Lolicons aren't trying to argue in bad faith? Because that's a big fucking yikes if that's the case. Motherfucker, do you want to know how the grooming allegations against Nier even got started in the first place? It was because the fucking Lolicons, including Sean the Legend, were getting called out by Brother Nier 2.0 for consuming CP. And they literally took this fucking joke and tried to spin it as him grooming a minor as a desperate attempt to get back at Brother Nier 2.0 for calling them out in the first place. And you want to know who provided the screenshot to them in the first place and suggested that this was a sexual joke? Vincent Martin, a pathetic snake who will use every underhanded tactic in the book to get back at Brother Nier 2.0 because he has beef with the dude. And you want to know why Vincent Martin has beef with Brother Nier? Because Nier dared to defend Kritosis from Griffin Gaming when he was slandering him of zoophilia and CP back in late 2022. And even though Brother Nier 2.0 barely, if ever, mentioned Vincent Martin during that scenario, the mere fact that he was defending Kritosis, a man that Vincent Martin was beefing with at the time, was enough to get him to go after Brother Nier 2.0. If that is not the textbook definition of being bad faith, I don't know what is.
This guy is simply just saying it's fucking unacceptable that you'd be making sexual jokes with minors, and it's all the more ironic that you're gonna grandstand him for being a lolicon when you do this shit. Something else he neglects to mention in this video when he's addressing this point is that this isn't the only time or the first time he's done it. In fact, I'll even put him up on the screen, but there are so many instances I've seen that suggest that he almost does this regularly. But
Nier, I know you're watching this, so all I'm gonna say is, I told you so. I fucking told you 2 months ago that someone later down the line was gonna take this shit out of context, and as usual, I was right. I'm specifically referring to that second screenshot that he showed. Now, if you know Josh, or even if you don't know him but you watch his content frequently enough, you'll know that this is just the sort of thing that he likes to joke about. Which, by the way, this was in a response to a community post by Brother Nier 2.0 saying that he was getting back into writing. And the thing is, Brother Nier didn't even say that he was going to do it. But if you know both Nier and Josh, you'll know that they didn't really mean anything by this. As for that first screenshot where Brother Nier 2.0 changed his Discord profile to Groomer Nier, that is quite literally a joke where he's looking back at this whole situation and just laughing at how dumb it was. And the same goes for Josh's profile being Kim Josh Groomed, which, by the way, that was literally fucking Josh who changed his profile to that on Discord. Nier did not do that.
But now to finally get back on track, I'm gonna replay that clip so I can point out something.
And now he's here, calling me a pedophile over an ambiguous, offhanded,
ungraciously or offensively nonchalant. So because you were being brazen and uncaring when making this quote-unquote joke, that's supposed to make it better?
harmless little joke I made towards a friend of mine.
Well, ho ho ho. Ladies and ladies with dicks, I understand you thought I was about to skip over the first thing he said.
Over an ambiguous...
Given the context that both you and Josh are fucking gay, this isn't just being ambiguous and saying sus shit with the homies. You crying ambiguity doesn't change the fact that it's unacceptable to talk to kids like that. Like,
yeah, except see, there's just two small problems with that. Number one, at the time that this joke was made, which was during the whole Quantum TV drama, Nier wasn't even fucking gay at the time. He was quite literally still with his girlfriend. But I don't even think that really matters because, number two, the joke wasn't even fucking sexual in the first place.
just because he's your bro doesn't mean that it's okay to talk to him like that while he's still a minor. This is unacceptable. Like, the way I see it, this is all just a valid point about your behavior. You would have a much more solid defense if you just said, yeah, I'm too inept to be expected to be a decent human being. You've somehow come up with a number of ways to deflect over this. One of my favorites being that you had this minor at the time run defenses for you and say that that he wasn't uncomfortable, and that I guess like the deal was if you made everyone think that he consented, it would be fine. Even if he didn't get groomed or hurt, which God, I hope that wasn't the case. As much as I think he's a little I hope he's fine.
So you're saying we should completely disregard the input of the supposed victim in this situation? Because that's incredibly fucking retarded if I've ever seen it. Also, consent to what? Debate over an insulting role on Discord? What the fuck is wrong with a joke about that? It's not like Nier said, come over to my house and I'll fuck the ever-loving shit out of you. No, he said, come over to my house and we'll debate on it, in response to being asked why he doesn't have a role on a Discord server. That's it. That's literally fucking it.
Still doesn't change the fact that I just stated, nothing justifies your inability to be appropriate with minors.
I will admit, the things Sean has done to me recently did not make me feel good. My mental health went down the shitter the moment he started this.
So, recently I got into a bit of a spat with Nier and his cronies, and we'll get into that later in this video because it does have a little bit of relevance here. When this would sort of reach the public because these guys wanted to wage war via community tabs, a few people, honestly a bunch of people, have been reaching out to me and sort of giving me information that they already have on these guys.
Considering that earlier you showed Vincent Martin as one of the people that you were getting your information from, forgive me if I am just a little bit doubtful that these people are giving you accurate information.
So they've definitely saved me a lot of the digging to do my homework, and while yes, there's a decent bit of it that really doesn't seem like it matters in my opinion, there are still quite a few things they're showing me that managed to raise my eyebrows.
My mental health went down the shitter the moment he started this.
So Nier would go on to make this comment, as you've just heard, presumably for pity points, because he never goes on to actually elaborate. So now take what I'm going to share with you next with a pinch of salt and throw on your tinfoil hat with me. Something that I can't even find decent enough context to is Nier admitting to suicide baiting, and I don't know, I just think that oddly lines up. You know, it's just a bit of a coinky-dink with the fact that he's saying his mental health went down the shitter. Could this be what he's failing to elaborate on?
And what does this whole suicide baiting thing of Nier have to do with the whole Shaun the Legend drama? Because I'll give you a hint, it doesn't. And I can literally prove it with those fucking screenshots that you're showing. The first one, Nier isn't even in that screenshot, so I don't know why you showed it. The second one has absolutely nothing to do with suicide baiting at all, as that's just Kim Josh-un commenting on that ambiguous joke that happened between Nier and Josh. And before you try to say that this was some sort of plea for help, he admitted in that thread that it was literally a fucking joke. And in the third screenshot, Nier is quite literally admitting to his L for suicide baiting, but what's far more important to point out is the date, which was in August of 2021. This was regarding the dark side of Griffin Gaming. This has nothing to do with the Shaun the Legend situation.
My mental health went down the shitter the moment he started this.
Nier is also a silly goose, and it's almost as if he can't
Keep that same energy.
Because on one hand, he's pulling the mental health card, after being called out for being inappropriate with minors, as poetic as that is.
Okay, dude, seriously, you need to fix your sloppy-ass audio editing, because I keep hearing your voice bleed over into the segments where Nier's video is playing, but back on topic. You do realize that accusations of pedophilia and grooming can literally ruin your life, right? Even if it later comes out that the allegations were false, it's entirely possible that by that point, the damage will have already been done. As being put to the ringer by society like that is enough to cost somebody their friends, their family, their job, their education and career prospects, their home, and their reputation. So no fucking shit if he has false allegations like that hanging over his head, that's going to fuck with his mental state. And you gotta love that false equivalence that you're trying to paint here, as if joking over a role on Discord is at all comparable to Mini-Lad sending pictures of his mini-lad to mini-lads.
My mental health went down the shitter the moment he started this.
Doing your occasional cry about ableism.
Face value. He also admitted to being ableist. Care if you think it's satirical, it's not something to joke about. Calling someone a pedophile is slander.
Like, autism is shit. I hate autism. Fuck you, autism.
You hate autistic people?
Meanwhile, saying things like this about people.
What drove you into actually making this dog shit video? I'm just very curious. What drove you into actually making this dog shit video?
Obviously, since he wanted to pressure me into getting aggressive so they have more stuff to shit on me, as their only argument was, say the Slandered to breach. During that time, they only had 1 point. Dude, first of all, what's your words? I can say the same to you, be honest here.
What?
Like,
Wow. You can tell that Scythe is not a very sane individual.
In the same video, mind you. Nier, I understand that you're extremely fucking retarded, but you can't really cry ableism and then say someone's insane or deranged in the same fucking video. That's
How is saying somebody is insane ableist when the individual in question has quite literally doxed somebody's full legal name, his email address, and even attempted to dox his real-world address, and the only reason he wasn't successful at doing that was because he got the information wrong. And he likewise thought he was doxing Krillix's real name and address, and the only reason he wasn't is because we intentionally fed Saith some incorrect information to see if he would actually do it. Not to mention, that whole drama got started because Saith literally called Robreach a pedophile and a mechanophile without any evidence to back that claim up, and to this day, he has not shown any hard evidence. We do have proof, however, that he was trying to fake evidence. And given all that, I think calling him insane is perfectly warranted. Meanwhile, in the voice chat, which you fucking showed in this video, he literally stated that he hates autistic people. That is quite literally a textbook example of ableism. So where exactly is the double standard?
kind of counterproductive to the little moral fag you just pulled out. So apparently you're allowed to suicide bait, grandstand people and call them ableist and pull the mental health card when you get called out for being a fucking degenerate.
You mind pointing out where the fuck he said that?
Now ignore this glaring red flag for the time being, but in the middle of a debate you had with me about consent laws, your guys' side being that it should be okay for adults 18 plus to be with minors.
No, dumbass, that's not what they were fucking arguing. They were arguing in defense of Krillix because of his relationship with his girlfriend. Like I explained earlier in the video, Krillix is 18 and his girlfriend is 16, but they've been dating for about 3 to 4 years, ever since Krillix was 15 and his girlfriend was 14. That's a 1.5-year age gap, and they were both dating since they were minors. They were arguing it wasn't an issue in this specific case, as well as cases similar to it. A good example is that several years ago, my sister, who was 16 at the time, started dating a guy who was 17, 1 year older than her. This relationship went on until she was 19 and he was 20, at which point it broke off. This means that for about a year, she was 17 and he was 18. According to this dude's fucking logic, apparently that's unacceptable. Now, obviously, if you have some, like, a dude in his 30s dating somebody who was 16, yeah, obviously that's a fucking problem, and if they're doing something sexual, then yeah, that's also a fucking problem. But a normal-ass relationship between two people who only have a 1.5-year age gap between them is not a fucking problem.
All of you threw a tantrum because you can't stand not being told you're right every 5 seconds. Threw out personal attacks, and when I reciprocated those personal attacks and made you feel fucking stupid because I'm just good at being condescending, Nier, you decided to deflect onto the self-harm situation as if that had any fucking relevance, and you were like, well, speaking of morality, I'm trying to understand why you're so much more fixated on something that happens between two functioning, consenting adults over what happens between an adult and a minor who can't even consent.
Considering that all that happened between the adult and minor in question is making a joke regarding a fucking role on Discord, no, of course we're not going to concern ourselves with that because it's literally fucking nothing to be concerned with. You, however, literally manipulated an e-girl on Discord to carve your username into her thigh. And I love how you're trying to say that it was between two consenting adults when, motherfucker, if somebody is self-harming, that is not a fully functioning adult. That is someone with a genuine mental problem that needs to be addressed. And I love how he just preempts that with this giant wall of text, which, let's go ahead and read that, shall we? I say functioning because she and I were both coherent and functioning normally. A lot of people believe that just because you're delusional that you can't actually be in your right mind. Which, yeah, that's complete bullshit, because if you pull up the definition of delusional, it says, characterized by or holding false beliefs or judgments about external reality that are held despite incontrovertible evidence to the contrary, typically as a symptom of a mental condition. And there's a sub-definition that says, based on or having faulty judgment, mistaken. So right there, the English language has already destroyed your own fucking argument, but let's keep reading. But that's not how it works. She and I weren't being manic or having an episode, and it has already been explained. The other party self-harms for sexual pleasure. Not to mention the peanut gallery uses phrases like, you asked, or you told, or you encouraged, because the context is actually different from what they want you to believe. Every now and then I'll get a, you made, suggesting some kind of force. The final act of the matter is that the people trying to grandstand over this are out of touch with reality and need to recognize that this affair between two schizophrenics isn't their business to be talking about, and that it's nothing to make internet drama out of. If anyone is wondering, this was an isolated incident. I have since learned and grown from the mistake, and it should be noted that it's been 8 months since it happened. I also didn't make this public. My DMs were leaked without my consent while I was being threatened with doxing. This just isn't anyone's business. I like how he tries to say that he didn't make her cut his name into her flesh, as if emotional manipulation isn't a thing that exists, especially when it concerns people that are mentally ill, which if she is already self-harming, then yes, she is mentally ill. At this point, I am going to show the image of the e-girl, so if seeing somebody with cuts in their thigh is something you don't want to look at, now is your chance to look away. You have been warned. So, since the whole debate was on morality, I'll let you decide. What do you think is worse? This or this? You tell me which one is worse. Alright, to all the people that looked away, y'all can look back now. And since his username was carved into her thigh, I figured I'd share a little bit of interesting information with y'all. In your thigh, there is a major artery that runs through there, known as the femoral artery, and if you cut that, you will bleed to death within 2 to 5 minutes. So this stunt could have gotten this person killed, which thankfully it didn't, but still, you should not be encouraging self-harm. And you wanna know what made this even worse? You wanna know what Kumo's defense for this was? The person who was doing it was someone I was trying to get to stop self-harm. We were in a general chat and the people in there were telling her to do it, so I told her to do mine instead since my name is only 4 letters. I'm not saying I did the right thing, but I'm not into that kind of shit and I couldn't think of anything close that would prevent it, so I made a call on the spot. She was someone who was gonna do it anyway, and my life has been turned upside down with mental illness and I even self-harm now too, and I'm trying to break the habit. Mine isn't for pleasure or adrenaline. I do it to punish myself, but that part doesn't matter. I also told her not to cut deep, and I know people say, why not remove her from the situation, when it wasn't that simple. She was gonna do it whether I approved of it or not, and I didn't want to just abandon a close friend over self-harm. And I think the other person in the screenshot sums it up pretty well. So you told a girl to cut your name into her because she cuts. That's like saying that you're trying to get a girl to stop a heroin addiction and then giving her a needle and justifying that by saying, well, at least it's clean. Motherfucker, you should not be encouraging that at all. If you try to get her to stop but she doesn't do it, that's not on you. But when you encourage her to carve your name into her fucking flesh, that is on you.
Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. I ended up shitting on you because you were like trying to say, oh, speaking of morality, then you were incapable, none of you actually, were capable of making a single fucking moral, like a logical moral argument about it. You couldn't even put it into words. You all just said, it's bad because it's bad, and you're shitty.
Alright, fine. Here's a justification for why encouraging self-harm is bad. Because you're encouraging somebody to harm themselves and you could get them fucking killed.
It's called begging the question. And every time I called them on this, they really didn't like that. This inevitably devolved into a virtual shoving match where I was just being condescending and shitting on them. I eventually gave them a solid fucking argument and then they got mad. They were like, you just said what we said, but with bigger words. And they would continue to cope until inevitably banning me from the server. Nier blocked me, which I thought was silly. I was just gonna say GG easy pussy, but he immediately blocked me after they made the decision to ban me, which is kind of just like admitting defeat if you ask me. Not to mention, their like recountings of events not only in some cases line up with mine, but are inconsistent on all of their ends. They've also earlier in that call said that they could have clipped everything easily, and the fact that they didn't post any clips, despite what they're claiming in all the replies in the fucking community tab war, they're claiming they don't have any footage of it.
Yeah, they didn't record it because they didn't want to bring this drama to YouTube. But guess what? You fucking brought it to YouTube. And it's not like you can retroactively go back and record it after the fact. Maybe they might have been able to get the last bit of it, but Nvidia Shadowplay only goes back 20 minutes max, and multiple people have confirmed that that voice call went on for about 4 fucking hours. They would have had to have Nvidia Shadowplay or OBS Studio already running to record the entire VC, which, considering that they didn't even expect to have this whole shit go down in the first place, yeah, no fucking wonder they didn't record it. Of course, I do wish that recording existed, because it would only make my job even fucking easier.
Which, you know, optically I'd understand if you didn't want to clip it because, you know, you guys were arguing fucking pro-child rape.
You know, it's funny that you accused them of not showing any clips when you yourself do not show any clips of what you're claiming either. The only difference is that we have people that are willing to corroborate the stories of Brother Nier, Psychonaut Therapy, and Krillix. And I think I've got the best person possible to corroborate that story. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to Anna Waifu. About a month ago, me, Nier, Psychonaut Therapy, Krillix, Batakanta, and several others dogpiled her video on Casual Gamers. Meanwhile, she didn't even know who Kumo even was prior to that voice chat, so she's about as unbiased as it gets in this situation. And she was able to confirm to me that not once did anybody in that VC argue in favor of child rape. So that whole claim where you said that they're arguing in favor of child rape was clearly something you just pulled out of your ass.
But that same night and even the following day, Nier would go on to call me fucking deranged. And even in that call, he was like trying to make comments like, you're fucking deranged. And when I would like laugh and mock him, he'd be like, do you think something's funny about that? I'm like, yeah, I appreciate the reminder that I'm fucking schizophrenic, retard. And then he'll go in his reply, and he says something along the lines of his channel just attracting deranged people. And then in his community tab post that was in response to my post that I didn't even tag any of them in, I didn't name drop them, I could have just ignored it, but he replied saying that if that situation put me at rock bottom, then for the love of all that is holy, stay there. That's really not something you'd want to say to someone if you're grandstanding about ableism. So to put it bluntly, your mental health only matters when you're getting called out for doing degenerate shit and saying saying degenerate shit to minors, and ableism only matters when I don't like you. But then on the other hand, Nier's actions contradict everything about that, so like I said, he just can't
keep that same energy.
I don't know how many times I need to fucking say this, but he wasn't saying degenerate shit to minors. They were just joking about a fucking role on Discord. As for the mental health claim, Brother Nier 2.0 was merely stating that his mental health went down the shitter in response to literally being fucking slandered. You, however, are trying to use a mental illness as a defense for the horrible shit that you have done. Meanwhile, you have failed to point to any example of Brother Nier being ableist, and the only example of Brother Nier calling someone else ableist is in response to Save literally saying that he hates autistic people.
Exhibit C is what I noted earlier in the video, that there are a shit ton of features in this video he made to defend himself, but none of them actually, like, bring anything to the table or really convince you. They just regurgitate the same shit he said. And while I do have a theory that a few of these people definitely probably didn't know the full context or exactly what they were getting into by recording these bits for him, I don't think they were, like, intentionally, elaborately trying to help him get away with this. A lot of these people are his friends, and these guys literally jerk each other off. Like, I understand when you have commentary buddies, you're all gonna have similar takes. Generally, you're gonna support each other, but these guys literally, like, white knight for each other.
I don't know where you're getting this idea where we all have similar takes, considering that if you listen to any of our VCs, we always dog on each other's takes all the fucking time. Like, pretty much any time that Krillix is in voice chat, he's arguing with somebody on something. More often than not, when I'm in VC with somebody else, I end up arguing with somebody on some take. And we literally make fun of each other for what we consider to be bad takes all the fucking time. Like, people make fun of me for liking Black Ops 4 Zombies. We make fun of Krillix for liking COD Vanguard and Destiny 2, and for hating Call of Duty Zombies. We make fun of a guy named Chorus for his music tastes. We make fun of Road Breach for being a furry. Hell, not that long ago, Brother Nier and Bada Kanta got into the classic Olympia versus M14 debate, and they literally decided to do a live stream facing off against each other, seeing who could last longer with their preferred weapon. However, when my friend here is getting fucking slandered for something he clearly did not fucking do, no shit, I am going to come to his defense if there's genuinely something I can do to help. And I think I would do that for anybody that I'm even slightly familiar with if they're genuinely getting slandered like that. And no, he did not mislead me. I have the fucking DMs that shows him telling me exactly what was going on. And the reason why he's getting so many people to give their perspective on the situation is to be as thorough as possible.
It's insane. Not just in comments. They make full-on fucking videos defending each other from not just allegations, but just general criticism.
You know, I guess we're just gonna ignore all the videos that we make criticizing each other. Like, do you know how we found Krillix? It's because he made a response to my video calling out the Ackman's Arena Shooter video, and we had a back and forth for quite a while, and Brother Nier and Psychonaut Therapy got involved as well. Or how about the time that Nier and Hypocrite Hunter were going back and forth, and I literally made videos criticizing both of them? Or how about any of the smaller criticisms that we have towards each other? For example, when I disagreed with Brother Nier when he said that Titanfall 2 should be labeled as an arena shooter since it's a multiplayer game where you fight other players and it takes place in arenas. Or during the G-Coop situation when I disagreed with his point that gameplay-altering microtransactions are only pay to win if it's a multiplayer game. But nope, we're just gonna conveniently leave that out because it doesn't fit your narrative.
What the fuck? So I'm pretty sure most of the people he, like, gets in here as, like, his testimonies, they literally have no credibility anymore because they are all known dick riders of you. So the first 20 minutes kind of sum up this entire hour-long video. Actually, that's not even entirely correct, because it won't even take 20 minutes to list all the points he made. First point, I'm being slandered.
I don't know what irreversible brain damage that you've taken in your life, Shaun the Legend, but this whole situation that you've done with Nier, the way you tried to defame him, trying to twist his words around, pretty much from the whole situation that
Next point, it's just a joke, bro.
So it started with Vince Martin, right? And then fucking, he pinged the one pedophile, right? Yeah, but the pedophile took this fucking screenshot of like, Nier making a joke, which, like, it's
Sean, you have got to be kidding me. Calling Nier a pedo because he made a non-sexual joke with someone.
Hey, yo, wait, whoa. What's not sexual about saying you'll decide if someone's a if they come to your house. That kind of clearly has sexual connotations, like, you know, gay sex, perhaps?
No, they're debating on a fucking Discord role, not if he's actually a oh my fucking god! That is quite literally you putting words in their mouth. Kim Josh-un, why do I not have the faggot role? Brother Nier 2.0, come over to my house and we'll debate on it. There is literally nothing sexual in those two fucking sentences, you fucking idiot.
Really bad. And now you're in this whole entire coping session because Nier made a fucking joke. He didn't even make the joke. Fucking Kim Josh-un made the joke.
Do you think I just can't read?
Considering that you still think that the words on screen are inherently sexual in nature, yes, you clearly cannot fucking read.
You know, honestly, before I even went and looked into this while I was editing, I really thought this guy was being good faith. But you can blatantly see the one who makes the sexual comment is Nier.
Christ, I sound like a broken fucking record at this point, but come over to my house and I'll debate on it. What one of those words is inherently sexual? I'll give you a hint. None of them are.
Anyways, fellas, it has come to my attention that an associate of mine is under fire from some degenerative individuals. Some individuals that may partake in, questionable activities, to say the least, or one person in particular. And why is that? Because of a comment that he made towards somebody on a Discord server a while ago. Now, this may sound bad on paper, but once you go and look at it, let me pull it up right here. Right, because we all know that messages sent on Discord, right? You say that somebody sent like a questionable message on Discord, and you immediately assume the worst, but trust me on this one. Why do I not have the faggot role? Come over to my house and I'll debate on it. Now, the person who Nier is talking to in this is underage. However, I look at this and I'm like, oh, he's threatening his life.
Lean is my home slice. I respect this Enwa with every fiber of my being, but I'm telling you right now, look at that face. He didn't believe a single word that just came out of his mouth.
Is this dude a fucking mind reader now? Because, like, how does a neutral expression on somebody's face lead you to believe that he doesn't believe the words he's saying? Well, now Sean the Legend is trying to claim that Brother Nier is a pedophile. His evidence? A fucking joke he made on Discord towards Kim Josh-un.
He has now started this process with Brother Nier by taking a joke he had made with a friend and twisting it to smear him, then running off to someone who is beefing with Nier to get the attention he so desperately craves.
The behavior from Sean just reeks of desperation to have a gotcha moment. Imagine taking an absurdist joke on whether or not a guy's a faggot.
So guys, I think you get the point by now, or one of the few points that he's having them regurgitate. See guys, my friends are all saying it was just a joke and it was totally not sexual. You believe I'm not a pedophile now?
Alright, fine. How about you believe Krillix then? Because we literally started off beefing with each other. And yet despite that, even he can look at these allegations by Sean the Legend and Vincent Martin and tell that they are fucking stupid.
The third and final point that Nier couldn't help but make these guys really drive home for him is that a guy calling him out is a lolicon. I'm gonna bust out a queef and keep it a chuck beef with you. I hate lolicons as much as the next guy. God, look at my channel. Do you see how many lolicons I've called out? But it's unacceptable for you to just use this to deflect. Like, I understand the lolicon was deflecting in the first place. We already understand he's a lolicon. Now we're talking about you. People are probably reacting to this on stream, so all the people who I think are probably good faith and probably just got misled into, like, featuring in this video, I'm gonna, like, put exempt in the top right corner of their clips.
I may be really sick right now, you can probably hear it, but at least I'm not sick enough in the head to actually think that going on the internet and publicly defending Lolly is some sort of morally correct activity, bro.
Hey, dumbass, that's the top left, not the top right. Just in case anybody here needed a reminder just how unintelligent this motherfucker is.
How fucking ironic is it that someone who gets so defensive, so immediately and aggressively defensive about Lolicon and how friends.
So I come to know that this guy is not really the most mentally put together individual. His Twitter, which it still is at this time, a complete just cesspit of the most degenerate shit I've ever seen. He basically is into like lollipop.
Hypnotic therapy and everyone blocked. He proceeds to continue to tweet about them. Like, we all know what this is. He literally just blocked everyone so that he could keep preaching to his little echo chamber of lolicons about this.
Okay, so I was asked pretty last minute to summarize my thoughts on this drama and to make it quick, and I'm doing this on no sleep, so bear with me. But I think the whole way this drama started was kind of dumb to begin with, especially when Sean admits that it's okay for people to find what he consumes creepy, but can't handle any criticism when they do. You can't really deny that what he looks at is virtual CP, and by that logic, I feel it's justified in calling him a quote-unquote pedo.
Okay, I'm sorry, but how is psychonaut therapy possibly exempt from being a Nier dick rider? Motherfucker, Nier and psychonaut therapy are quite literally dating each other. Psychonaut therapy is the one most likely to dick ride Nier in every sense of the word. Honestly, this shit just writes itself at this point.
He just keeps molding on Twitter and on YouTube, trying to find any out and anything to distract from the fact that he admitted to wanting to stick it in a minor. And the thing is, I offered him an out. He was asking for proof that this shit is illegal, but like it matters because attraction to children.
And to give my final thoughts on this entire thing, Sean, if you truly want this drama to be over, just shut up and stop talking about it, sit in your basement and jerk off to your little anime girls like the sicko you are. Thanks.
First things first, you defend lolicons?
Howdy folks, my name's Ruzen. I've been catching online sexual predators since the early days of 2017 humor.
Alright, my involvement with this whole internet beef has been non-existent until some people start bringing it to my attention with, oh god, what the fuck?
Yeah, unironically, I'm not pulling your leg here. This was the meat and potatoes of this entire hour-long fucking video. It could have just been summarized in less than a third of the video. To be charitable to these guys, I only highlighted the parts of their segment that they tried to hammer home, but a lot of these guys had a lot of overlap where they would just kind of say the same thing that someone else said, but then they would focus on something different most of the time.
No shit, dumbass, that's how fucking testimonies work. The whole point of getting that many people to give their take on this situation is to be as thorough as possible.
It took Brother Nier 1 hour to hammer home 3 fucking points. It only took 3 minutes to condense his entire video and show the clips to do so. Fucking kill yourself.
Really want to put my logo on that one?
And one of these guys, towards the end of his segment, really said something that made me chuckle.
With head. Honestly, as far as Sean DePedo, Mitsuni Nika, or whatever other split personality resides in his head goes, what is there to really say that hasn't been already said?
So, as you can see, I have a bunch of people that will fight by my side.
Most of which were already your friends behind the scenes, and actually, you have them on your channel page listed as your friends.
You like to invite your friends to harass me, so I think it's only fair game if I have mine stand with me.
Oh, he likes to incite and invite his friends to harass people? That sounds really familiar.
You know, a few months ago, I had an interesting conversation with Hypocrite Hunter, and one of the things we talked about is how motherfuckers will literally come after you for no fucking reason, and then play the victim when you dare to swing back. Well, that's what fucking Kumo is doing right here, albeit on someone else's behalf. Sean the Legend quite literally came after Nier in the first place. He is the one that decided to slander Nier with those false grooming allegations. And he quite literally had his Lolicon defense force harass not just Nier, but anyone else that dared to take his side. Like, go look at the comment section of my video on the topic, and you will see people trying to defend that shit. So with Sean the Legend and his Lolicon defense squad committing slander and harassment, no fucking shit we're gonna retaliate.
This video would not exist to begin with if it weren't for your inane amounts of degeneracy, deceit, and outright scummy behavior.
Wow, that would be something silly that I could actually say at the end of this video here, too.
No, your video only exists because of your own stupidity.
It's very clear to me that you can't grasp the very concept of being wrong, and that's why everything between you, me, and several other people has happened so far. You targeted harassed me with your community of scumbags.
Man, my ears are ringing because I'm just getting overloaded with all this fucking irony.
This is slander, and I won't tolerate it. I know for a fact that Sean will act like I'm doing the same thing to him, but my accusations are not baseless.
What you just showed wasn't slander, it was an observation that I don't think many people are gonna disagree with, to be honest.
How is someone claiming that somebody's making a sexual joke towards a minor not an accusation? Genuinely fucking explain that to me.
If you want any good pointers for jokes, the Lolicon, the pedophile here, just gave you a good example. That's a good joke. And if you wanted to make it any sillier and chime in on the fun, you could have quote tweeted him and said, "Yeah, bro, I got that bitch pre-ordered."
I'm naked with my kids. I have sex with my kids. That's how I get down around kids.
You know, it's interesting you say that now, considering that earlier you tried calling out Brother Nier 2.0 for changing his Discord name to Groomer Nier specifically to poke fun at the situation. My guy, you really need to learn how to
keep that same energy.
So, Nier, generally speaking, is a very disingenuous, like, conniving cunt. If for any reason under the sun he doesn't like you, he will dramatize the shit out of you or something you did or said to the point that it literally is, it isn't even in proportion anymore to what it actually was.
You say that when Nier literally went out of his way not to record the VC with you specifically to avoid creating drama on YouTube. But nah, it's literally Nier that wants drama and totally not the dude that dug up a 4-month-old drama just to get views on YouTube.
So if Nier ever starts grandstanding you, what you need to do is you just need to play along and kind of feed into it, but like sarcastically, and that'll make him feel really fucking stupid. So if he says that you're a shitty person, you need to have consequences for your actions, no matter what it is specifically you did. Just do something like this.
I will rape and murder you.
See, now he's gonna shit his diaper and tell you to stop being a tough guy because you made him feel like the retard he actually is. Just exaggerate, it's what he's doing. For example, when people tell me, "Oh, weren't you the guy who made a girl cut herself?" or "Don't you make random girls cut themselves?" I always say, put some respect on my name, young slime. I don't make random e-girls cut themselves. In fact, I see all women as walking flesh billboards.
Do I even justify this with a response?
Everybody, like, in actuality, who's, like, touching grass or isn't a fucking retard, they know that's not fucking true. They know these people are exaggerating, trying to get a rise out of everyone. So, dial it up by 10. Make it sound worse than they can even make it sound. And, well, except for you, Nier. It might come off bit different if you try. The last thing I wanted to do before I close out this video is, this will also be brief. See guys, I promised you, I make things quick, they're always quick. This video probably went over so much shit in such a short span of time. So guys, to end this video off, I really just want to show you that Nier has always been this way. This was just a year ago, and I think a year is more than enough time for someone to change, especially since he like took his original video down and you can only see the response.
So if 1 year is more than enough time for somebody to change, then why the fuck do you even bring this up in the first place? Which, for those wondering, yes, it's the dark side of Griffin Gaming, or more specifically, Griffin's response to the dark side of Griffin Gaming, and that's basically what the rest of this video is. I really do not feel like covering this entire section because, number one, it is completely irrelevant to the topic of this video. Number two, Brother Nier is literally on record stating that he doesn't stand by the dark side of Griffin Gaming anymore, and that's why he nuked his entire fucking channel that had the dark side of Griffin Gaming to begin with. And number three, you can probably tell this, but I've pretty much exhausted all of my patience with this motherfucker. I have been working on this video for the past 6 fucking hours, only stopping to eat something and then exercise for a bit. There is one thing I do want to address, however, and it's this.
One of the many reasons why I think you weren't entirely honest with Griffin when you went and got him on your little fucking crusade to defend yourself from pretty reasonable backlash is just this video right here. If you had told Griffin the entire context and he remembered that you were the one who pulled this kind of shit, I really don't think, logically, that Griffin would have it in him to even endorse you subtly. Like, I don't understand how anyone could, like, I really don't believe that Griffin would sit here and try to defend you from quote-unquote false allegations after you tried to turn a speed bump into a fucking mountain.
Yeah, this is a straight-up lie, and I can literally prove it. So, y'all remember about 1.5 years ago when everybody was dogpiling Griffin for his shitty take on the Ackman's COD Vanguard video? Well, when Griffin was doing a live stream response to Shaun the Legend's response to that stream, Brother Nier 2.0 showed up in the chat and asked Griffin to debate him regarding the whole situation. And this was the exchange that took place.
Brother Nier, maybe we can watch your video, but you have to promise me that there's no cringy shit in there, like saying I ruined dating for the entire world. If you can tell me that there's nothing like that in the video, we can probably watch it.
And with that, we have finally reached the end of this dog shit video, and honestly, thank God I can stop watching this piece of fucking shit. If I'm being completely honest, I think this is easily the worst video I have ever responded to on this channel, bar none. But if you managed to get all the way to the end of this video, thank you so much, you are the best. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more, and tell me what you think of this motherfucker. Anyways, that's it. Peace!
Definition of insanity is. Insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change. That is crazy. But the first time somebody told me that, I don't know, I thought they were bullshitting me, so boom, I shot them. The thing is, okay, he was right. And then I started seeing it everywhere I looked, all these fucking pricks. Everywhere I looked, doing the exact same fucking thing. Over and over and over and over and over again. Thinking, this time, it's gonna be different.